Hey guys, Josh here again with another update for how we're trying to help survivors of this earthquake that happened in Turkey a few weeks ago. As I'm recording this, it's about just over 600 hours since the first earthquake hit. That's about 25 days. It's crazy how quickly that has gone. There's been a lot that's happened in the last 3.5 weeks. As it stands right now, rescue teams have stopped their rescue efforts for people who are stuck under the rubble. After 600 hours, there's just so little chance that people are still under there that rescue teams aren't continuing on their efforts. Sorry, it's a little bit windy here. But aid and relief teams are still working around the clock trying to help people and serving them food and helping them with their basic needs. As a little bit of news from what we've been doing since the last video that I posted. You'll remember that we were doing the bus evacuation stuff to help people get out of the city that we were in, the one that was super cold. We ran that for about a week and a half, about a week and a half. And during that time we had basically people calling nonstop, trying to find a way to get out of the city and to get into other places where they had family or where they knew that they could stay. So we ran that basically until people stopped calling, until we didn't have enough people calling to warrant sending more buses. So in that city specifically, we ran that for about a week and a half. And one of the things that stuck out to me from that was just how much people wanted to help, and we were able to work alongside a few local Turks in the process. And one story that stuck out to me was one of the Turkish bus drivers that we had, who was helping us drive people out of the city. He was so excited by the opportunity to be able to help, and that we were able to work together to help on that he was looking for more opportunities to go above and beyond what he had signed up for. And at one point there was a family that we were helping trying to get out of the city. There's about 15 of them, and all of them were either deaf or mute or both. And so our original plan was to get people to a bus station and then get them bus tickets to go wherever they needed to in the country. But for this family, that just wasn't really an option, because they just needed more help, and they didn't know the bus system, and it was just a whole thing. And so we were talking. This guy overheard that this was a thing, this was an issue. This family needed to get all the way across the country. It was a long trip they needed to make. And this guy was like, no, I'll take them. Put them in my minibus and I'll take care of them. I'll drive them across the country to the city that they need to get to where their family is, and I'll make sure they get connected with people. I'll make sure they're kept safe in all of this. He had already worked a full day with us, and he's like, oh no, I want to help. Let's make this happen. So he ended up driving them all the way across the country after working a full day with us, and got this family to safety, got them to where they needed to go. And there's just been so many situations like that where people have been coming together to help each other in the midst of everything that's going on, and that's been really encouraging for us. As far as our current trip is concerned, like I said, right now we're just outside of the city of Antakya. If you look up in the news, that city, it has been hit really hard. We haven't gone through the city itself very much, but we've driven around the outskirts, and we've been in several of the villages and smaller kind of town cities around the area. And it is just insane how much destruction and damage has happened in this area. We've been here for about a week now. So many people are scared to go into buildings and stay in buildings, and rightly so. There's still aftershocks happening. Since we've been here, we've felt a bunch of aftershocks. Just on my earthquake app that I've been following, in Turkey alone in the last 48 hours, there's been over 500 aftershocks that have happened throughout the region. And we've been feeling a bunch of them here. And as they happen, more buildings have been continuing to fall down. So basically nobody is staying in any buildings now. So we ended up coming to this region specifically with the purpose of bringing tents to people and setting them up for the people who needed it the most. So I'll start walking in that direction. You can see in the background there 2 of the tents that we set up. There's a family here of about 21 people, and they were basically, more or less sitting under some of the like kind of greenhouse equipment that they had for for growing plants and stuff. It wasn't even their stuff. A local farmer was like, hey, I have some plastic in a field that will keep the rain off of you. If you want to stay under there, you're welcome to. That was kind of the situation that they were in. And they have 21 people, some of them elderly, some of them kids and babies and that kind of thing. And we found out about their situation. We have a friend that lives quite close to them. And they said, hey, like, these families need a place to stay. So we were able to come and set up these tents for them. And also around the area set up a bunch of other tents for people who needed it. Another thing that we were doing while we were here is kind of just looking and seeing what are some of the other needs in the area. Who are, there are still aid teams delivering aid around the region, but what are some of the things that aren't being met well? What are some of the needs that are present but that aid teams maybe are overlooking or that we can help in? And one of the things that we found when we were here is that right now, by far, it seems that the need that is biggest and that is being least met is actually that of toilets. Toilets are obviously a thing that everyone needs to use and often need to use several times a day, but are just not available right now. We've driven up and down around this whole area and seen thousands, probably tens of thousands of tents set up and delivered in the area. But I think I can count on one hand the number of toilets, like temporary toilets or like outhouses or that kind of thing, that I have seen set up and delivered around here. And of those, I know that at least one of them, probably more of them, didn't actually work. They require like water flowing to be set up. And there's just no running water in most of the cities that we're in right now. And so at the moment, most people are just going to the bathroom wherever they can. They're going in the streets, they're going in a field, they're just making do with whatever they can because there's no other place to go. And what's really concerning is that within that, if there's no sanitation, if that's the thing that, like, if people are just going to the bathroom everywhere, disease breaks out, right? Local doctors in the area have actually issued an epidemic warning because of the amount of disease that's starting to spread, and a lot of that being because of sanitary stuff like lack of toilets and people just using the toilet wherever they are, where there aren't toilets. Without toilets, without sanitation, disease happens. And so we actually consulted with an expert who's done stuff like this in the past, and we came up with basically a model for a type of composting toilet that can be built really easily, pretty cheaply, and can basically provide sanitation, provide like a toilet option for people in these kinds of situations. So you can actually see it right here behind me. How it works is you have, it's basically just a frame. In the inside there is a bucket, and you get a bunch of sawdust, and with that sawdust what you do is you just put some in the bottom, do your business, put some more on top of it, and it actually starts composting. What happens is when you fill it, you find a safe place away from kids, away from dogs, away from like animals or anything like that, and you dump it there, and it starts to compost, and within about 3 or 4 months or so, it becomes safe compost that you can plant trees in, plant fruit trees in, that kind of thing. So we've been working the last few days, both with this expert and with some others, to first of all roll out some educational material about this, how to use these kinds of toilets safely and effectively, how to build these kinds of toilets. And then we've been starting to build these. We built that one last night. We were working late into the night and doing construction and trying out like different designs and stuff to see how we can roll these out quickly and cheaply, and in a way that provides people with as much help in the area of sanitation and the area of toilets as possible. What's crazy to me is like basically everyone that we've talked to as we've been setting up tents and as we've been handing out food boxes and that kind of thing, basically everyone has said like the biggest need that we have right now is toilets. And This is actually the fourth one that we delivered. The first one that we delivered, when we handed it to the family, they like were almost tearing up and were saying, thank you, like thank God for this, praise God for this, thank you so much. Because it's, I mean, a lot of people here haven't been able to use an actual toilet in three and a half weeks now. Because yeah, the ones in the buildings are unsafe, and there's none elsewhere else, like anywhere else that they are. They've been sleeping in fields and on the street and that kind of thing. So yeah, we're excited to be able to like roll this out for people. It sounds like something that will need to be rolled out possibly by the thousands and thousands as we iron out some more details. I actually talked to a guy who is coordinating one local organization's relief efforts across the region. They're in 10 different cities right now. And he said that once we iron out a few more details about it, there's a decent chance that their organization will want to see this kind of idea rolled out across the entire area that they're working. The need for toilets is just so great, and this is, as far as we know, one of the cheapest, most scalable, most sustainable, and safest ways to roll out toilets for people in this context at the scale that we need to. Again, just so many people affected, so many buildings destroyed, so many lives lost, and those who have survived just hurting so much. So yeah, we're excited to be able to help people with these new composting toilets. After taking into account the higher than normal price for wood in Turkey, Turkey has a place where wood is a little bit more expensive than, say, Canada or other places. Taking into account shipping resources in and buying the sawdust and stuff, it looks like we'll be able to roll out these toilets for about $50 a piece. The sawdust, we're bringing enough that a family can use it for about 2 weeks, and after that we'll need to get more. We actually are buying the sawdust from a guy who used to sell sawdust, but his building collapsed on top of his depot. So we've been like, as he's been starting to dig stuff out, we've been buying his stock so that he can get more money to help him dig out more, which has been kind of crazy. But yeah, that ends up being about $50 to bring a family a safe toilet and to help slow and hopefully stop preventable diseases that are spreading around this region. Yeah, we'd love if you'd be able to help us roll these toilets out to the people who need them. If you're able to, please consider sponsoring some of these. Again, about $50 or so to roll one of these out to the area. Yeah, and help us fight back against disease epidemics that are breaking out in this area. Again, thank you guys so much for all your support, all your prayer, and all your donations and financial support for the stuff that's going on here. We are going to continue to try and help as many people as we can in this area, and we're going to continue to try and find ways to take the resources that we have and make it go as far as possible to keep as many people, help as many people as possible, keep as many people safe as possible, and keep helping in this area. So we would love if you'd continue to partner with us. Again, thank you so much. Love you guys. Bye-bye.